Oh, look at that. Absolutely stunning. All lined up for a drink. Late afternoon, the sun is just busy setting. These are the same 5 rhinos again, 5 males. So we're just going to get moving off now. We're lucky to get you just at the right moment, still finishing off their drinking. Of course, rhinos need to drink quite a lot of water, if possible once a day, and anything up to about 60-70 liters probably. That is about 20 odd gallons. Quite often, if you think about the volume of material that animals, I'm not even going to bring humans into this equation because we are just way beyond it compared to other animals, but the volume of material they can utilize just to feed yourself, in terms of, in the case of rhinos, maybe the grass and the water they need to live. Big rhino bull will eat maybe 60 to 100 kilograms of grass every day. It's about 200 odd pounds. Drink about, like I said just now, call it 60-70 liters of water. So just these 5 rhino, between the 5 of them, they'd be consuming just under a ton of vegetation. That's about 1,000 kilograms, 2,200 pounds of grass every day, a little bit less than that. And drink about 300 liters of water. Take a big buffalo herd, even though they eat a little bit less because of a better digestive, well, different digestive system, they still need to drink a lot of water, and you're talking about 500 or 800 buffalo. Take a herd of elephant of 30 individuals, and suddenly the volume of food and water they consume is massive. So you can imagine why things like a good water like this is a very valuable resource, both for the animals but also for us that want to see these animals. As you can come, still Kuzang Marty, but I'll probably move off soonish. Amazing looking animals. Rhinos, again, unfortunately we don't see black rhino around here. They have been around, we've seen tracks before. Look at those two just checking each other out. Two on the right hand side, so Alex, you're looking at the other 3. 2 big guys, just a little bit of a standoff there, nothing aggressive. Obviously they know each other well. They're just a little bit like how's things with you kind of thing. But I was just saying about the shape of it, unfortunately we can't or don't see black rhino yet in this area, but as a comparison, white rhinos are very long. It's very, very sort of big and almost cumbersome. Not that it explains the way they move. They can be very fast and almost elegant for their size, but it's a very long, massive design. Black rhinos are much more compact, sort of sturdy animals, whereas white rhinos, these guys sort of almost elongated in a way. Very long jaw. That whole face is just a long jawbone. That rhino on the right hand marking there a little bit. You see he's just spraying urine. Actually he's more just urinating, he's not really marking. Of course, when they're marking, they really spray it in like a mist. So if you look at the shape of that animal, apart from being distracted by the fact that he's urinating, but look at the very long, elongated jaw and face. Keep in mind the brain sits there just below the ears. And then the rest of it is just literally a long face and a long jawbone, adapted to allow them to graze quite easily. Also quite a long body, which is why they've got that second, almost like a little hump, just before you get to the hindquarters. Just acts to support and suspend that very long spinal cord, almost like if you think of a suspension bridge. It's got a similar design to that in the very basics of it. Extra muscle to help support that spinal column, especially when they're running. Whereas white rhinos have got a bit more of a hollow back. They're much more compact, weigh about half the amount of, or half the weight of white rhino. But lovely seeing them. Can almost remind you of what it must have been like on Earth a few million years ago. Even though they are mammals, obviously, like we are, they've got warm blood. And even though rhinos have got very little hair, they've got hair in their skin. You can sort of see a little bit of the dinosaurs in them when you look at them.
Mr. Peter.
Yes, Mr. Alex.
Actually, we're wondering about, does the rhino have any sounds do they have any sounds they use communication?
Yeah, they do a little bit, Alex. Good question, actually. Alex is wondering what kind of sounds they make, but very little of it. The main sound is you'll get a bit of grunting and snorting when they, either as an alarm call or as a sign of annoyance sometimes between themselves. Just a sort of a snort like that. And then there's a beautiful sound which maybe at some stage we'll hear when we see a mother and calf close to us. But it sounds a lot like dolphins almost, like a sound like that. Very, very beautiful sound, and that's normally between a mother and calf, typically from the calf, especially when it needs a little bit of comforting or sort of attention from the mother. Sometimes when it's hungry and wants to suckle, it'll make that noise, and you'll sometimes hear it from the mother as well, but typically younger rhinos that you hear that. It's like a very, I don't know how to explain the sound, like a dolphin or a whale type of sound. That's the best way to explain it. Very interesting sound. When you hear it the first time, when I heard it the first time in Pilanesberg years ago, I was like a bit sort of dumbfounded. I didn't know where it came from, and then I realized it's the rhino. So it's a beautiful sound to hear, but you need to be quite close. You can't hear it much more than 10, 20 yards away. Well, it's the rhinos. I think we're going to leave them. They've given us a fantastic view. They're just moving into some relatively thick bush on the western side there, so I don't want to bother them too much.